So this is an example community we set up to kind of, it's kind of like semi-real data from the Real Food Campaign, and as one of the example organizations that would be part of this network that the Bionutrients Food Association is trying to put together. And so you can see, the main interface looks a lot like Facebook. There's like a stream of posts of different types. Right now we have discussions and requests and offers and resources, as well as events and projects, which kind of live over here on the left. So if I click on a post, it just brings it up inside, and there's a comment thread, and you can bring different people into the conversation, and you can upvote posts. This is an event, so you can also, RSVP. And if I go to create a post, obviously I can choose what type it is. Some of the sort of interesting things that are a bit different about Hylo from other platforms is, first of all, you can add multiple tags, topic tags, and organize, a little bit like Twitter hashtags, but also a little bit like Slack channels, kind of in between. So, but you can post things to multiple different topics instead of just in one place. And then you can also post the same post into multiple communities, and so and networks. And so this is really powerful because it allows there to be like a shared point of conversation and collaboration on a post, whereas like in existing systems like Facebook and Slack, you have to kind of copy and paste things to different places and have completely separate conversations. This is kind of like the seed of what we see as where Hylo will be unique and powerful in enabling kind of this like more decentralized collaboration. So I can also set a time frame for this request and a location and add images and attachments. And then we're just in the process of working on the ability to create public posts as well that will be viewable to the general public, although you'd have to sign up in Hylo to actually interact with it. You can also see the member directory and see people's different skills and interests and information about them. Again, this is all just staging data that's not totally real. And then we have the beginning of project functionality. Actually, there may not be any projects in here. And then, projects right now basically are just like, they're basically just like another type of post, but you can have like a group of people that join it and participate in it. And we want to flesh this out into much more fully, functional basic project management tools. We think there's a lot of power in the ability to create projects that then different people from different communities can find and get involved in. But we have just the beginning sketch of that right now. But I wanted to show you the other really interesting aspect of Hylo's is you can have networks of communities. And so working with the BFA, they're working on what they're calling the mycelia network. And so this is where they want to have Real Food Campaign and NOFA and Permacore and Open Team potentially like all part of a network working on regenerative agriculture stuff and sharing resources and information and collaborating. And so, from this view, I can see all of the posts in all of the communities that are part of this network. And so then the other big thing that...
Are you guys working with the Regenerative Communities Network?
We are not, we're in relationship with them. We are a Regenerative Communities Network chapter in the Bay Area. The Terran Collective is.
Yeah.
And we've talked to them about using Hylo. There's not like an official relationship there besides us just being...
They used a different software. That's, yeah.
They're using, wait, is it HiveBright or Mighty Networks right now? I think it's HiveBright. Okay. But, we would love to bring them on board over time. And then so the other big piece of functionality that I mentioned that we've been working on with BFA is this mapping stuff that we're about to release. And actually still a little bit of polish needed on it, but you can see all the different post types. You can filter the different ones. You can see everything that's visible in this map view and filter by topics or just by searching. And
how's the mobile experience? Is there You guys have a mobile app, or does it work well? And
Yeah, so we have iOS and Android apps. They're a little outdated at this point. We also, when we release the map in the next week or so, it will also, we did a whole bunch of work to get the mobile web to work well. So all
Mhm.
of the functionality will work well in mobile web soon. um, and the iOS and Android apps are there and they work. They're just slightly, they lag a little bit behind on feature functionality because we're
Yeah.
a small team right now and could use to raise some more money and build out the team. Um, what else can I show you? I mean, this is the basics. It's just like, oh, there's also direct messaging, sort of like Facebook Messenger, both individual and group chat, um, which is nice. Here's the notification stream up here. And we have, search. Yeah, I'd say we basically have like most of the core functionality of a social networking, communication, collaboration platform. Um,
You can do group chats too.
yep. Yeah. There's one with a couple people.
And um, what was that? What was my other question? Would be? Yeah, cool. How many people are in your team right now?
Um, there's the five of us that are the core stewards of the Terran Collective, and we're working on Hylo. I'm like full time on it. Aaron and Claire are basically full time on it, but they just had a baby, so they're going to be taking some time off. And then Neha and Kelly are kind of like working on partnerships and are part time. They have other work as well. And then we have a couple other developers that have been working with us. Some of them are volunteering, some of them are paying. Um, we're trying to build up a kind of open source community around it slowly. And
What language is it written in, or languages?
it's all JavaScript. It's Node with GraphQL on the back end and React and React Native. Um, yeah, pretty.
Cool.
It's been really great for us to take over because it's a really good code base. And the design is nice. The architecture is well designed. It's been there's you jump into someone else's code base and it's quite possible that it's going to be a complete disaster. And it's actually been pretty nice to work with. It's a little bit
Awesome.
like needs some updating. It was kind of like 9 months of pause while they were trying to figure out how to raise money and then do the sale. And so 9 months in the web development world, a lot can happen. But for the most part, it's been great to work with. And yeah, we have this huge roadmap of things we're excited to build, and we have this like really nice foundation to build on top of.
And you're getting good contract work essentially from Bionutrient Food Association and other folks, or
Yeah, we have two partners right now, them and one other one, and we're looking for more. The problem with that, of course, is it's like short term. We also we would like to raise a big chunk of money, either as just a donation, like philanthropy, or potentially setting up a structure for an impact investment that feels good.
Mhm.
Um, so we're trying to figure out that piece right now to be able to build the team and just have some more stability. But making do with these different kind of contracts or partnerships. I mean, it's great because they're not really they're contracts, but it's more like aligned people who want to see the same vision exist in the world and are down to put some money into it because everything we do benefits the whole ecosystem, of course.
Yeah, totally.
It's really nice.
Cool.
And so, beyond like building in governance tools for communities, we are excited to build in like financial solidarity tools, like ways for communities to pool their money and do co-budgeting or, create a loan savings pool where community members can ask for loans from the community. We want to flesh out the project management stuff, like I said, and make it really easy for groups to kind of activate onto projects in real time and make stuff happen together and coordinate more effectively like that. We want to add in kind of like courses, learning modules, learning management systems. We have a number of people using Hylo for that, but flesh out those tools. There's a lot. But ultimately, like I said, it's like, how can we create an alternative platform that is not abusing people's data, is not trying to sell people things, and is designed for kind of the thriving of humanity and the planet from, just with those values embedded at the beginning, and make sure that we stay aligned with our values over time.
Yeah, this way that posts can show up, that there's like these nested communities. It reminds me a little bit of this platform I used, I guess probably like back in 2012, called the Wagon. Did you ever see that or use
I don't
that?
think so. Wagon.
It's
No.
essentially like a nested wiki format where everything was built in through cards, and so you could have elements that you code that you could reuse wherever you want, and it made for this kind of fractal architecture.
Cool.
I guess another thing that would be similar, kind of on that documentation note-taking thing side of things, would be Rome Research. I don't know if you've come across them.
Yeah.
Yeah, Connor
Yeah.
White Sullivan, who actually was somebody I had gone to UMass Amherst with.
Nice.
Um,
Yeah, it's something we want to think a lot more closely about. Like right now we have networks of communities and it's cool, but it doesn't support the sort of complexity of different structures that is needed. And we're trying to figure out the right balance of kind of flexibility and enabling all different kinds of ways of coordinating, collaborating, with also simplicity and not getting too crazy. But we need some more. We need at least one more layer of groups, I think, within communities. And then, one of the one of the issues right now is that communities can only be a part of one network. We want to make it so communities can join multiple networks. And I think even just that one change would enable a lot of different cool, flexible things to happen. But there's a lot of tricky things to figure out there with different privacy settings of, what do you want to post with who and allow who to see. It's a bit tricky. So that's one of the things we're excited to figure out.
yeah, yeah. And so, how does it work on the hosting side of things? Like, say a DAO was interested in creating a community, would they be hosting the code base somewhere, and it would be able to interact with other communities that are hosting their own communities, or how does that work?
I mean, right now it's just a traditional centralized web app. It's all hosted on
Okay, so you guys
our
are
servers.
you're paying for all the server space.
Yeah, exactly. Our hope is that Holochain solves the kind of distributed hosting aspect and data stuff for us, and that we can just use Holochain when they're ready. But that's not our focus. Our focus is on building useful tools for people right now,
Yeah,
and creating alternatives to Facebook and Slack.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a simple answer then.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.